Laughter is the best medicine. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. But deep down in my heart, I truly believed I was cured. Every day I said, "Thank you for the fix." And I kept saying, "Thank you for the fix." I believed I was cured. I thought I had no cancer at all. One thing I did to get better was watch a very funny movie. It was just to laugh, laugh, and laugh. I shouldn't have put any stress on myself. It's because stress is the worst thing when you try to heal yourself. It took about 3 months from diagnosis to cure. Moreover, no radiation or chemotherapy was performed. Casey Goodman. This beautiful and touching story, told by Casey Goodman, shows that 3 powerful forces work: the power of being grateful for healing, the power of faith for achievement, and the power of laughter and joy to melt down the disease. After listening to Norman Cousin's story, Casey decided to put laughing as one of his healing methods. Norman Cousins was diagnosed with an incurable disease. Doctors told Norman that he would only live for a few months. Norman believed he would heal himself. For 3 months, he only laughed and kept laughing while watching funny movies. 3 months later, he got better, and doctors called it a miracle. In fact, parts of our body change every day. Some parts take months and some parts take years. Every few years you get a new body. If the whole body changes in a few years, as science has proven, how many years can degeneration or disease stay in our body? It is only because of our thoughts about disease, and interest in disease. Think perfectly. Diseases do not survive in a body full of harmonious thoughts. Incomplete thinking is the cause of all kinds of evil, including disease, poverty, and unhappiness. When we think negatively, we block the inheritance we deserve from coming. Declare and think, "I think perfect. I only see perfection. I am perfect. I completely changed my body, which was not even stiff and nimble." When I focused on the idea that my body is as flexible and perfect as a child, all my stiff and painful joints healed. Literally overnight it became like this. All beliefs about aging come from the heart. Science has shown that our bodies are newly created in a very short time. Take this idea of aging out of consciousness, because it's a limited way of thinking, and know that no matter how many birthdays you've spent, your body is only a few months old. On your next birthday, do yourself a favor and celebrate your first birthday. Do not stick 60 candles on your cake, unless you want to attract aging. Unfortunately, Western societies are hardened to the idea of age. Actually, aging doesn't exist. You can get perfect health, perfect body, perfect weight, and eternal youth by thinking. It is possible if you think of perfection continuously. When a person is sick, they often talk about him all day. That's because you always think about it, so you end up putting it into words. If you feel a little unwell, don't talk about it. If you don't want to get worse, know that the cause of the condition is in your thoughts and say this as often as possible. You feel great. You feel great. And feel that way in real life. When you ask someone how they feel when they don't feel good, thank them for reminding you that the person should feel good. Say only what you want. You can't hold on to anything until you think you can. And if you think you can, you pull it. When people talk about their illness, listening carefully is inviting you to get sick. You become focused on your illness as you listen. And when you focus on something, you ask that you want it. Besides, it doesn't help the person either. It only helps make his or her illness worse. If you really want to help the person, talk about the good things. If you can't, just do your own way. Think strongly of the person at this time as he or she is getting healthy. Focus on the emotions of the time and forget about them. There is no need to use energy to get rid of the disease. A natural state of health will appear if you just get rid of negative thoughts, and the body will heal itself. There is no such thing as an incurable disease. I had a plane crash, and when I woke up, I was in the hospital completely paralyzed. My spine was broken. My first and second cervical vertebrae were broken. My swallowing reflexes were broken. I couldn't eat or drink. My diaphragm was damaged. I couldn't breathe. All I could do was blink my eyes. Of course, the doctors said I had to live in a vegetative state for the rest of my life. It meant I had to keep blinking my eyes in the future. This was the future they imagined when they saw me. But I didn't care what they thought. What mattered was that is, I imagined myself walking out of the hospital as a normal person again. The only tool I could use in the hospital was the mind. But I thought I could turn anything back to what it was if I had the mind. When I saw myself on an oxygen respirator, people said my diaphragm was broken, and I couldn't breathe again without the help of the respirator. But the small voice inside me kept saying, "Take a deep breath, deep." And eventually I took the respirator off. The doctors had no words to explain, so they didn't know what to do. I set my goal of walking out of the hospital at Christmas, and I actually did. I walked out of the hospital on my own 2 feet. The doctors didn't believe it, and I never forget that day. If I had to sit back and talk about my life to those who hurt me, to sum up my life, and what people can do, I would say in one sentence: a man is what he thinks he is. Maurice Goodman. Maurice Goodman is known as the Miracle Man. Maurice's true story was selected as the secret because it shows the enormous power and infinite potential in the heart. Maurice knew that he had the potential within him to achieve his chosen goal. Anything is possible. Maurice Goodman's story inspires millions of people to return to health. By thinking, imagining, and feeling, Maurice turned life's greatest crisis into life's greatest gift. After The Secret was made, we learned all sorts of miraculous stories about people getting better after watching The Secret. Anything is possible if you believe in it. The previous story was taken from the author Rhonda Byrne's Secret. We want a healthy life, and we must definitely believe that we are healthy, above all else, in order to be healthy. If that belief persists, there can be a miracle in which any disease can be cured. The placebo effect is one example of revealing the law of attraction. If the patient really believes that the drug works, the effect appears as he believes. Focusing on perfect health is something we can all think about. No matter what the external situation is, laughter attracts joy, expels negativity, and miraculously heals illness. Diseases do not leave the body because of thoughts, interests, and observations about them. If you feel that you are not feeling very well, don't talk about it. When people talk about their illnesses, listening to them will only make them worse. Rather, talk about the good, and think strongly about how the person is getting healthy. Do not listen to social perceptions about disease and aging. Negative perceptions do not help you.